Claude Anderson talks about in books like Powernomics are so important in terms of building solid business models. So without me getting scrambled everywhere, I'm going to start with one thing that jumped out at me. One thing that jumped out at me was the long-term perspective, the financial consciousness that they applied in terms of really having a strategy that didn't provide necessarily instant gratification. They didn't start the business saying we're going to make as much money as possible tomorrow. They started the business by doing something a lot of companies have done. Amazon has done this. A couple other Chinese companies are notorious for this. They didn't charge the highest price they could. They lowered the price. Like a lot of times you'll hear people on the internet that'll say never lower your prices, never da, 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 always know your worth, stuff like that. They didn't do that. What they did was they lowered their price to acquire market share. And then what happens is once you acquire market share, then you can increase your price. So a lot of companies have done this strategy. There are companies out here that are worth billions of dollars now that were losing money for years before they actually started trying to make money. Amazon is probably the most notorious that you would know about. For years, Amazon was losing so much money that people thought Amazon was a failed business. They said this is a crazy business model. This is terrible. I think Jeff Bezos went on on some talk show and he was like, "Yeah, we," he said something like, "Yeah, yeah, we lost $100 million," and he kind of laughed about it, right? And that's because he had a strategy. The strategy was I'm gonna acquire market share, and then later on I can raise my prices. I don't have to do it right now. So this family, part of their strategy was we're going to lower our prices so that we can run everybody else out of business, acquire as much market share as possible, and then we'll get our money later. The money will come later. And this is and I'm not saying that every business should run the same way. I'm saying that there are lots of businesses that do. So don't ever listen to someone who says you should never ever don't ever lower your prices. No, you work with the customer, you acquire the customer, you serve them, take good care of them, and believe me, the law of reciprocity kicks in. You will get what you earn in life typically. You're gonna get yours. So just take your time. The second thing that jumped out at me was the each one teach one uh successful family member reaches back to help others. So if you recall, at toward the end of the video, they had the part where they said that the son gets older and he opens a hotel and gets it going, and then they help the next one. They help the next one. This is not new for you. This is not something that black people don't understand. There's nothing magical about Indian culture that says that they're just so much wiser than African American people are. That's not true. You're very wise. Unfortunately, American society, colonialist thinking, American capitalist colonialism made you a little bit stupid. Or at the very least, it made you have a little bit of amnesia because check this out. Your elders already know this. They already understand what it means to have a community and a family where each successful person reaches back and helps somebody else. You only learn selfishness probably in the last 40 or 50 years when you were trained to trade in your land and your businesses for student loans and corporate jobs and just rampant individualism. That's what that you learned that's new for you because let me tell you a little secret. I brought in a guest, and I'm sure the video's out there somewhere. Her name was Dr. Mary Stoddard. Does anybody remember my conversation with Dr. Mary Stoddard out of Louisville, Kentucky? She's a proud AKA. She is an attorney. She is a PhD. Her husband, Dr. Marcus Stoddard, is one of the most respected cardiologists in the country at the University of Louisville. And Dr. Stoddard told the story about her family. They grew up, I think, in Louisiana, and they were dirt poor. I think that that would be an accurate term to use. They did not have any money, but they had something more valuable than money. They had family, they had love, they had a mother and a father, they had a plan.